Hello everyone, my name is Noin. I am Director of Communications and Events at Squeezed. I welcome all of you for our brown bag today. Our brown bag today is about chemical engineering to customer success, how to network and change careers. Our speaker today is Rasika Nimkar. She currently works as a customer success manager at Procurify. Her goal is to make things easier for everyone and create smooth user experience for all software users everywhere. She graduated with a master's degree in chemical engineering from Missouri University of Science and Technology. She worked at an electrolyte stimulation software company for 7 years before making her entry in the world of technology. With her analytical approach, she has been able to build special relationships with customers. She has published 2 papers with one of her customers at her previous organization, OLI Systems. Rasika continues to work towards creating sustainable processes for her organizations. Our today event is about her experience and journey from chemical engineering to customer success. She will talk about how networking and LinkedIn helped her change her profile and make an entry into the world of technology. She is passionate about communications. And before I give this floor to Rasika, I would like to give land acknowledgements. We would like to take a moment and reflect on our connection to the land and thank the traditional guardians of that land, which we at Squeezed Vancouver live and work. Vancouver is on the unceded ancestral and traditional lands of Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, Seychelles, and Squamish and indigenous people of Turtle Island. The agenda of our brown bag today is a presentation by Rasika until 12:30, 12:45. After that, we will take questions from audience, and at the end, we will give the closing remarks. With that note, I will give the floor to Rasika. And Rasika, thanks and welcome to Squeezed Brown Bag. And whenever you're ready, you may share your screen and you can start. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Noel. I really appreciate that. Can you just let me know if you can see my screen here?
Yes, I can see.
Actually, I don't know if this is better, but let me do this. Is this better? Can you see it?
Yes, this is better.
Yes,
Okay.
it's good.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks so much, both of you, Christine and Noel. Apologies everyone about the initial issues. So the thing is with SWIST, right? I'm a member of SWIST as well, Society for Canadian Women in Science and Technology. And all these people who work at this organization, they're all volunteers. They have full-time jobs as well. I know that members work very, very hard. So it's totally understandable. And with the way things work right now with technology, it doesn't always cooperate either. So really appreciate everyone's patience while this meeting got set up. Thanks so much. All right, so let's dive into this. I made my transition earlier this year from chemical engineering to customer success. And how did I do that is one of the main things that I did do was networking, because career transitions have changed a lot in the past few years, especially in the pandemic. So let's start taking a look at this. So my introduction, as Noel said already, that I had my master's degree in chemical engineering. I worked for a software company, but that company was targeted towards chemical engineers. So even though I was in the same field of chemical engineering, the product that I was representing was actually a software product. I love to work towards sustainable processes. Anything that we do needs to be, need to have the ability for it to get scaled up. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Just make sure to add a note so I know who you are, how we met. So with that, the agenda today is I've divided the presentation into 2 parts. One is career transition journey tips and tricks. And the next is just some work-life balance during this pandemic era, because I feel like that's a really big topic right now for everyone. So just taking a look at some of the tips that I follow to help with that. All right, so let's start. what is your ideal title? And feel free to use the chat function. I can take a look at that. So what is your ideal title? When was the last time you thought about the title you want? Does it accurately represent what you do or what you wish to do? And are you looking to change it? These are some key questions that you need to ask yourself when you are looking at a career transition, or even coming back to a career after a break. And I'll talk more about that as we go forward. So my story. What happened with me was that I was working for this company for 7 years, and towards the end of it, we were planning to move from US to Canada. While we were trying to make that move, my organization decided to change some structural things, and my title got changed to client success. So now I had honestly no idea what client success was. It I had heard about that, and I did discuss this with my CEO, and he said, you know what, our company needs this role and you would be great at it. I'm like, for sure, like, love it. Let's do that. And I took the position, but I definitely wanted to learn more about it because it was something that I was interested in, but did not know enough about. And once my title was changed, I started taking a deeper look into it. And what I did is I actually went on LinkedIn and I started looking up people with the client success titles. Then what I did is I reached out to those people. First of all, I saved bunch of their profiles on my computer, and then one of the people I really liked, I liked their journey. I reached out to them and I messaged them that, hey, I love your title, I love what you do, and I love how you got there, so can we talk a little bit more? And they were so nice. They responded immediately. It's one of my friends now, Jillian. She was like, you know what, let me give you my phone number, and we set up a coffee chat over the phone. I was in Toronto, she was in Vancouver at the time, and we talked for like half an hour. She told me all about like how she got into that job, what does she do, what does her day look like. And it was very, very informal, which I loved. And what she said is, can you when you come to Vancouver, message me again and I will tell you about a meetup that we all customer success managers meet every month. Like, oh wow, that sounds amazing, I want to meet other people who do what I do. Because in US, in New Jersey, I literally did not really have a community of people who do exactly the same job that I do. So I was really excited to meet those people. So when I came to Vancouver, she gave me the address for the meeting wherever that happened, and it happened every month at different companies. A panel would come for those meetings, and then there would be discussions. I went for my first meeting, and my mind was blown. It was like, oh my god, these people are discussing the same issues that I have every single day. And that's when I found my community. So when you're trying to make that transition, finding that community of people who do exactly the same job is very, very important. Because I was coming from a chemical engineering company, and I was like, okay, like, no one here, no one in the chemical engineering world understood my problems, but the customer success people did, because that's the job I was already doing. So I met with them, I kept in touch, went for a lot of networking events, and then one of them eventually referred me to the job that I'm in right now. So essentially, that's how that journey happened. I wanted a title. I got that title within my organization, but I didn't really know what it meant, what it entailed, and even to grow in that title, what were the other skills that I needed to acquire. So all of those things happened because of LinkedIn, because I met with Jillian. She introduced me to some of her people, like some of her friends and colleagues, and thus my network kept growing in Vancouver, and I made sure I was attending a lot of networking events. That time they were physical events. Obviously now they are more on Zoom, but still, that's still okay. You can still reach out to people on LinkedIn. So my next slide will talk about uh, well, the next slide will talk about that. The slide that uh, I have now is about struggles. When I say, okay, I shot on LinkedIn, I got a response, a lot of people will say, yeah, well, but we have so many roadblocks. Like people don't respond. No, they don't. People don't always respond at all. The hit rate is like 1 or 10%, very low. You reach out to 100 people, maybe one person may respond. You apply for a lot of jobs, you get no replies. You don't have enough time for your career development. No clue where to start. Absolutely. Yeah. I faced all those roadblocks as well, and just kept trying to do some of the things. And ask me any questions if you have about this, about what I kept doing, and I can tell you more about that. But some of the actions I took to overcome the roadblocks I showed before, where I kept reaching out, I kept following up with people, but not in that pesky way. I was very concise about, hey, like this is me, and ACE is, acknowledge their time, confirm the goal. What is your end goal for the message or the talk? So that's what I kept using. I kept using these tactics. I was very concise, was very polite. Like, I love this. I don't want anything else from you. I just want guidance. And I found that people were responsive to that attitude. If you are genuine, uh, there there are other genuine people out there that would respond to that kind of reach out. uh, Utilizing existing connections helps as well. Like if you know someone that you want to reach out to, but you think you see someone else connected to them, you can ask them to connect you with that person. I for one, I'm always open for making connections like that. If you see anyone in my network, feel free to message me. I'll be more than happy to connect you. Um, One of the most important things is having a 100% complete LinkedIn profile. Do you have the profile picture? Are all your experiences updated? Do you have any references? Whenever you leave a previous job, assuming you're leaving it on good terms, ask your manager for a referral. You worked really hard for that organization. Make sure you get your credit. And give referrals too. Be open about giving referrals to other people or colleagues you have worked with. Because eventually, if you are planning to go into a leadership position, this is something that will be very helpful, giving referrals to others. Use correct hashtag and keywords when you share your post. Once I started getting more and more into the customer success kind of things, I started doing a lot of research about it. I was sharing articles about it. And then I was doing that research on the side where, okay, what are the typical keywords that are being used for a customer success post? I started following those pages and then started using those hashtags in my my posts as well. And be very active on LinkedIn, especially right now in COVID. No one's seeing you, no one's actually meeting you. Your LinkedIn presence is almost like who you are. So let that be representative of your interests. That's the only way you can communicate your personality or your interests or your passion to your potential recruiters, your network, and get connected with like minded people, basically. So be the subject matter expert. Once you are that, people will reach out to you. And that should be your goal. You want to be at that point where people are reaching out to you rather than you reaching out to them. That will happen for sure. Keep applying, keep getting referrals from existing friends, people who are already your friends, not new contacts you're trying to network with, because that just, and I have some tips on that, that just comes off very odd. And make sure you're scheduling some time. One of the challenges I faced, I showed before, not getting enough time for self career development. I enrolled for a course at UBC for sales and marketing, which I thought was going to help with the customer success profile. And absolutely, that helped so much. It was a totally worth it investment. Most organizations will offer, if you are currently working full time, most organizations will offer that benefit of actually getting some part of your fees reimbursed. So make use of that. And if you are currently not working full time, absolutely invest into learning some courses. That goes a long way. And where to start? That was the first biggest problem. Write down your goal. What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Put a timeline next to it. That helps too. So LinkedIn, uh, what I did, which I already walked through, but some of the tips that I wanted to jot down is search for the jobs with the desired profile. Suppose you have a specific target profile. Have you looked on LinkedIn to see what that job entails? Once you actually find those job postings or people with those jobs, uh, uh, when you have the job posting, read the job descriptions thoroughly. If you love one of the descriptions, if you love specific description, even if you're not applying for that job, save that job description. Save it on your computer, look at it, compare that against your existing resume and see what's missing. Those are the points you want to work on because that's your target profile. That's where you want to go. How would you get there? You need to set a benchmark. That's the benchmark that you want to be at. Are you at that benchmark? If you aren't, then you need to get there. And that's the gap that you will learn to fill, and take steps to fill this. I reached out to people with those profiles, and then again I did the compare and contrast. I literally saved their LinkedIn profiles as a PDF on my computer, and then I compared my own profile. Like, okay, if they have done something that I have done as well, but they have written it in a different way on LinkedIn, I will change my language too. Because if you're trying to make career transition, speaking the language of that career is very important. We are comfortable with our own domains, our own expertise, but we have to keep challenging ourselves constantly. And then once I was done with those things, then I sent a simple message and tried to set up virtual coffee chats. Um, so that's for LinkedIn. Once the virtual meeting is set up, what is next? Prepare for the virtual meeting. You should prepare for it as if you're preparing for a job interview. Be ready to ask questions about that person's journey. Be very interested in what they are doing. How did they get there? But don't ask them for a job referral. That just comes off as like, no, you don't want to do that. You actually want to learn about that person. You're not only messaging them for a job. And that's a mistake I see a lot of people who are seeking jobs or trying to network do. They're very eager. They need the job. But you know what? The job will find you when you are ready. So when to get ready, talk to as many people as you can without that end goal of, oh, need a job, because that comes through when you try to network. So network for the sake of networking, at least in the beginning. And then be genuine. Again, if you're someone who's open, who's sharing insight, actually, because every interaction is value based. Are you sharing something that the person in front of you is going to be interested in as well? That's when that interaction goes smoothly. And again, if you don't have a hidden agenda like, oh, I'm going to ask them for a job later, then then you're not genuine. So yes, please be genuine when you do the reach out, especially in a virtual world. No one's seeing you. You're doing all this on LinkedIn. Let the let the true uh, sense of genuinity come through. That will help a lot. At the meeting, this meeting is set, you're meeting them on like Zoom, make sure to ask them about any local resources. My contact really helped me when she introduced me to the meetups that I was going to. Ask your mentor or your guide, or your new person you have connected with, the one you are in the meeting with, about the local resources. What did they do? What organizations did they join? Like I met Christine, and Christine told me about Swist. So I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. This is Canadian women in science and technology. Yeah, I'm gonna join that. Amazing network, right? Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If you think you're coming off too strong, ask your guide. Like, do you think I'm coming off too strong? What should I change? What would you suggest? And they will give you feedback. Be open to that feedback. Make those changes. Thank them for their time. Absolutely appreciate the time. Show some small gestures. Now there's like a lot of things that you can do because of COVID that can help show someone how thankful you are for their help. You can do Uber Eats, send them a coffee, piece of cake. That goes a long way. I've done that for some of my colleagues, and really it does get appreciated. Share your experience and seek mentorship. Because when you seek mentorship, you will get it. There are, again, like people who want to share their experiences, talk about it. So do that at the virtual meeting. And when try to attend, try to do every meeting as if you want to leave a good impression with that person, right? Then that stays in their mind. So whenever, even if you're not actively asking them for a job, whenever they go somewhere, like, okay, that person was very nice, I loved that interaction, I would be more than happy to recommend them for something. So be that person, leave an impact, leave a positive impact on someone. After the virtual meeting, maintain that relationship. It's a relationship, you have to invest in it. These contacts will be your guides in your new career. If you're moving location, you're moving organizations, these are your people that you will stay in touch with. I have this amazing network of women here in Vancouver that different fields, but seriously, like so appreciated. Yeah, Christine and I met on LinkedIn. So really big impact, on your career and journeys. Follow through by sharing your insights. If you come across something that they find useful, share it with them. Be open. And then keep them posted about what's happening in your life as well. Like, I had a baby last year. I invited Christine to my baby shower. Keep build your relationships. Work on your resume. That's a big piece. So I did hire a resume writer because my resume was very technical, chemical engineering oriented. I didn't want to remove so many things from my resume, but I had to. They were not relevant to the job I was applying to. I had the skills. I could talk about things that I had done, but they didn't need to be on my resume because the HR person at a tech company wouldn't really care if I worked on nanotechnology. They don't care. Why? So they care about how I manage the project, right? That's important. Only keep relevant experiences and continue working on your communication skills, being resume being big part of it, and the relevant experiences. Keep gathering those relevant experiences. Try to find those pieces in anything that you are doing right now. Honestly, it could even be so for example, I was on mat leave last year, and during that time I wasn't actively working. That didn't mean I wasn't acquiring those skills. What I did is I like to talk about this in my interviews. I'm resourceful, right? What does it mean I'm resourceful? What did I do? So during my mat leave, because I was a new mom, I was a first time mom in the pandemic, I gathered so many resources for new moms or pregnant moms in Vancouver area. Who is someone who can come to my house for massage, who can come cook for me, what are some nanny resources, all those things. I made a list of it. Anytime I meet a pregnant person or I talk to someone in my network about being a new mom, I send them those resources. Like, look, these are the resources I've gathered. Some of them I've actually used. Use it. That's a great example. So in your day-to-day life, even if you're not working right now full time, gather those things. These are your skills. What did you do? What do you do in your day? How do you approach things in your day-to-day life to show those skills? So write them down. That helps a lot. And then try to work. If you're trying for a career transition, right? Try to work on a lateral transition at your organization first. I got this solid piece of advice from one of my LinkedIn mentors. LinkedIn had this mentorship feature. I don't know if they still have it, but they had it at least 3-4 years ago. And I connected with someone in Pittsburgh at the time. I was in New Jersey. So it connects you with people who are closest to you in geographic location. So the person who was in Pittsburgh, he told me this. He's like, you want to go into customer success? Ask your company if they can give you customer success title. It worked out that they already wanted to do that. My CEO already wanted to give me that title. So that helped. I didn't have to fight a lot there, but many times you would have to. So try to see if your organization can give you that title that you are wanting first before making the move into another organization. And then consider relevant certifications. You have to keep learning. You have to keep growing, keep challenging yourself. There's no alternative to that. It's very critical for success in anything, basically, not just a career transition, in anything. And then keep networking, basically. Some of the resources I had, this is the meetup. If any of you are interested in customer success, that's meetup for Vancouver area. And some certifications for customer success to consider are Gainsight, Success Hacker, and Sales and Marketing Management. So these are really good certifications if you are looking to get into customer success. Lastly, Procurify, company I work for, they are hiring. And I'm more than open to refer everyone who's eligible for those jobs. So reach out to me on LinkedIn, send me a note. I know I said that don't ask for a job in the first meeting, but like I am actually posting this here. So we are looking. Christine, even for you, for Swiss, the job posting link is here. I'll post that in the chat as well. Please reach out and I'll be happy to recommend you for that. So I'll pause here for a bit. I know a lot of slides. Any questions so far for me?
Thanks, Rasika. Everyone in our attendees today, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you.
Rasika, it's Sue here. I just want to thank you. This is such valuable information, and I'm so glad that you're sharing it. And I'm a professional coach. I used to be in STEM, and networking is the best way to find a job.
Mhm.
And you're really giving really valuable tips. So thank you so much. Really helpful.
Thanks so much, Sue. It's huge coming from you, since this is what you do for a living. So thank you so much. And again, I welcome feedback. If you have any feedback for me, feel free to share it with me. I'll be more than happy to incorporate that. All right. Anyone else? Any questions?
There is one question in the chat box. What kind of language did the resume writer use compared to your language?
I just see that. Yeah. Oh, it was such a big difference. So I think initially when I hired like a resume writer, I did okay, only 1 hour first session. It was about, I think, $100 per hour, right? And then when I saw the end product, I was like, what is this? What language is this? Because it almost felt like a foreign language to me, even though there were the things that I know I had done. But the way she wrote it was just very different way of presenting things. A lot of it was very objective oriented too, like what was the end result, what is the quantifiable result of what was done. However, it was because it was not an engineering STEM geared resume, right? It had more of percentages as opposed to specific details regarding that project or that experiment or that lab work, whatever you may have. So yeah, it was more on a bigger, like on a higher scale, but at the same time it was very much quantifiable. It was very much business oriented. I hope that makes sense. Roseanne, and again, message me if on LinkedIn if you have more to discuss. I'll be happy to share my resume with you if you want. Soft skills, did they think you should focus on in my resume? I think they wanted me to talk about my client experiences more, like be prepared to discuss some specific examples of what were some of my difficult clients that I had dealt with. How did I deal with that situation? Those were some of the specific skills that the communication skills, troubleshooting skills were very important, at least for this job. Kara. Yeah, Kara works with me at Procurify. So yeah, feel free to connect with her as well. Okay. Awesome.
Any other question from audience? We still have lots of time. You can share your experience. How about sharing our experience with Rasika and then take her
I
suggestion?
have some couple of more slides though. If you want, I can finish that and then we can do more question and answers.
Yeah, sure. I would suggest Rasika, if you can interact more with audience here
Yeah,
and you
that
would
makes
like to
sense.
know them much better. So,
That's
in
true.
case if they have questions, so they can just use this time for them. So anyone else who has question, who would like to share their experience in the job market,
Yeah.
please let me know, raise your hand or unmute yourself, because
That's
Rasika is here. She is more than happy to
true.
guide you, to help you, Anyone? Rasika, if no one wants to share their experience, I think we can just go on.
Noin, let's just continue with Rasika's presentation. Maybe we can have questions at the end.
Sure. That's fine too. I just posted my link there for LinkedIn so people can connect with me. Okay, so the next set is, if I can get it to work, is work from home. So fun fact, I was actually working from home for 2 years before the pandemic. So I had to learn all these things before, that became normal for everyone. Then when I was working from home, I had my baby. So I went on a mat leave. When I was coming back to the job market, it was like 100% remote environment. One of the reasons for me to look for a different job was I didn't want to work from home anymore. But obviously, that was not a possibility since it was the pandemic. So it took me a while to get used to the idea or the concept that, okay, now everyone's going to have to work from home. That's the normal. But I still ended up changing my job because, again, I wanted to make entry into the proper tech company. So find what helped me is to come to terms with that remote work culture or remote work from home 100% most of the times. For most of the organization is I tried to find my elements. So what are my elements? Like find your elements. What works for you, you know? So my elements that work for me is routine. I'm like a stickler for routine. I need to do certain things at a specific time. I have to start work at a certain time, but before that I have to do a certain thing. Like I have to have my morning cup of like either coffee or tea, just sit down, get my thoughts together, take a look at what meetings I have. Before I do that, I can't actually start processing things. So I have to, and this, I had been doing this even before, like I said, the pandemic. So that helped, like having that. And then I have to take a shower and sit at my desk. I'm not going to sit at my desk if I haven't taken a shower. I don't know how to tell you this, but this is super critical because there are a couple of days when that doesn't happen and I can see my entire day gets thrown off. Like, no, that I know why my day was bad because I didn't do my certain things. Meditation. Luckily, Procurify has like weekly, 2 times a week meditation sessions that they arrange. And I try to do my best to attend those because honestly, such a big difference after I attend those meditation sessions with Procurify. If for some reason I can't do those, then I have this app on my phone that I do the meditations on. Really a big help. Yoga. My mom's a yoga teacher, so I lucked out in that way. So she takes some of my classes on Zoom or on WhatsApp. She doesn't live in Canada, so that's very helpful to attend the yoga classes with her. And then music. I have some playlists, go-to playlists for different moods. When I'm doing some like admin work, which I don't like to do that much, I have this like really nice and upbeat music that just pumps me up, right? Because I'm feeling sleepy. I don't want. Or if I'm doing some important work, I have this very calm Zen music, white noise kind of music in the background, so that I actually end up focusing more on the important task. So these are my elements. Find yours. And then what I wanted to say is like about routine. Routine helps because it keeps you accountable. Your body knows to expect certain things at certain time. You would notice that if you started doing certain things for like 3-4 days in a line, you're like, okay, why am I not doing that right now? Scheduling break times is also part of the routines. Very important. Make sure, whenever you have meetings, before and after the meetings, you schedule some buffers so that you can decompress and go into another Zoom meeting. And it's very important to set some expectations for yourself and for others. If you have colleagues, managers, clients, even, you have to set those boundaries. You have to tell them, like, look, this is not going to work. I have to do this, but I will do this. I'll get back to you. And that helps as well. So just what some of the other things that could help with the work culture at pandemic is making those connections. Like again, Procurify, since I work in a local company, even though we are remote, they try to arrange some meetups. So if you work for such a company that has this kind of model, you can try and go in at work if possible, if you are vaccinated, if they allow it. Making those connections is a big help in any organization because we are pretty isolated right now, all of us. So it's very important to talk to people. Cultivating some hobbies. We forget, work from home, we completely forget to separate work from your day-to-day life. So what I do is like to de-stress some of the work things. I picked up some hobbies that I knew from some time ago that I was doing, but I wasn't doing them anymore. Life got in the way, but yeah, with everything that's going on, those hobbies are really forcing my mind to think in a different way than work. And that really recharges me and refreshes me. Some of the hobbies like that I picked up is dancing again. I used to dance a lot as a child and I stopped, and then I've started learning classical dance again. Reading, I became part of a couple of book clubs, keeps me accountable. I go for those meetings, discuss the books, make those connections. Those are my people. Now, since we don't have colleagues to talk to anymore, you need to keep talking to someone, about specific things that you have joined that group for. So yes, book clubs are also very helpful. And because of pandemic, everything's online right now. So it's the best time to utilize that. I think that's pretty much it from me. Thank you. If you have anything, yeah, it's open mic. Feel free to unmute yourself, share your experiences, ask me questions if you have any.
Thanks, Rasika. I think it was a good idea for you to share your last slides that because that was very good information about work and personal life balance that we always struggle and especially during pandemic. I can see one question from Samiha. I'm not sure if I am pronouncing her name correctly. She's asking about any words of advice for a new grad. Anything
Uh,
you wish you knew earlier on.
so, Samiha, what is it that you have graduated in? What field? Please unmute yourself. I'd love to talk to you.
Hi everyone, my name's Samiha. I graduated from electrical engineering.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing is with chemical engineering, it's also a core field. Electrical engineering, I know, is a core field. Uh, some of the things I wish I knew early on. I did my master's in chemical engineering. Honestly, if I knew little better, I wouldn't have done master's in chemical engineering. Based on my personality and my liking, I most likely should have done an MBA. I spent 2 years, 2.5 years. I spent money obviously on the degree. But like today, I'm in a completely different profile. Not that it didn't help, but I would have gotten there sooner. So I don't know if that helps, but definitely, yeah, MBA is good. Did you do your bachelor's right now or master's already? In bachelor's, okay. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, look into MBAs. However, in pandemic, one of the biggest things with MBA is that you should be on campus. Online MBAs do not mean as much. Why? Networking. Yeah, exactly. Big events happen at MBA schools, which are very helpful. That when you're physically there. If you aren't, then MBA fees are much more than master's fees for engineering, for example. Not worth it. So you have to do that profit loss analysis before you make any decision. Your financial ability to help a decision that you're taking, it's super critical. It has to be data driven. Take a look at the data. See what's happening, see what percentage of people are following which paths, and then go from there. I'll be happy to chat. Send me a message on LinkedIn. We can talk more.
Hi, Rasika, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much for sharing your experience. That was wonderful to hear.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm actually also a chemical engineer that has been,
nice.
yeah, I've been working in manufacturing for about 8 years now. And I've been considering a career change as well, and actually looking at the tech sector. So it's interesting because I feel like I have a very similar story to you.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if before you went into the customer success role, is it because you had already known what that, or a little bit about what that role entailed, and so you were interested in making that move, or was it something that you just that you kind of just were thinking of trying and seeing if it matched with what you liked or what you wanted to do?
Really good question. Leila or Leela.
That's right, Leila. Yeah.
Leila. So yes, so it was a combination. Firstly, when I joined OLI as a chemical engineer, I already was a support engineer. So the role itself wasn't super traditional to begin with because the product was software. However, it was software for chemical engineers, chemists, scientists. So I was in a client-facing role. However, the challenge of the role was it was very, very reactive. I had to keep responding to people when they asked us questions. My attitude was very much more in alignment with a customer success person already in terms of why do we let them get to the problems? Let us solve them before so that time doesn't come, so the frustration doesn't come. So I think I had that aptitude of a customer success person, but when I was working there, it wasn't really a well-known field anyway. It has grown really fast in the past 10 years or something. So I think it just worked out that even they thought that this was a person that was necessary in this role. I was kind of already doing those things. So it just moved in, but I didn't know exactly what it had. Like a lot of elements of my current job, I wasn't doing at OLI. So like retention and all those things either. I did learn a lot through all those events I was going to, for the meetups and the people I was talking to. Okay, what do they do? What do they do? Because customer success also changes from company to company, by the way. Some customer success managers are very technical. Some aren't technical, as in they will actually be able to demonstrate the entire product to you. They can just do like troubleshooting for you. They are also working as a support person. With my previous experience, I was very clear that I do not want to do support for them. That needs to be sent to a different team. So that, so your choices sort of get more solid as well when you explore more.
I see. Oh,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was kind of exploring, I guess, for the last year, what's out there in terms of the tech world and where I guess I would be able to fit in with the skills that I had.
Right.
And I was just to share a little bit of my experience for the others here, just what you had mentioned regarding reaching out to people on LinkedIn who had roles that sounded like something you might be interested in. That definitely works great. I did that as well and reached out to people. And I mean, it's amazing kind of
so nice. People are very nice.
Will reply to you without even, for no reason. They don't
because
even know you. They're so
because you're not
nice.
asking for a job. You're not asking for a job,
No, not
right?
at all.
Exactly. That helps a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, people are so willing to talk about what they do and answer your questions. It's wonderful. It really is. Yeah.
Especially in tech sector too, I feel a lot of like client facing or like marketing or content managers and HR, everyone, especially people in these sections of tech are very, very responsive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but computer programmers may not be, like the product side may not always be that responsive on LinkedIn, but the salespeople, like everyone related to client facing profiles are 100% responsive all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, keep me posted, Leila. For sure, I would love to like know what you're interested in, and if I can connect you with anyone from my network, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Oh, very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And I think Roseanne said that she can't unmute, but she has a PhD in chemistry and she loves problem solving. But yes, Roseanne, please keep your LinkedIn profile as updated as possible. Get references. If you're working on PhD, your advisor may not be on LinkedIn. That's quite possible. I know that. But your teammates, your lab mates, anyone who's worked with you, anyone who's supervised you in any capacity, for sure get their references. Because for a PhD, what I've seen, I've worked with a lot of PhDs in my previous organization. One of the common misconceptions about a PhD person is they might be difficult to work with. You want to squash that going into the gate. You want to talk about, okay, how am I so good to work with? You need to sell yourself as that. So hope that makes sense, Roseanne. All right. That's anyone else want to share something? Any questions?
Thanks, Rasika. I don't think we have more questions here. So I think we can probably then end our session. Thanks, Rasika, for being here and for giving this wonderful presentation. It was very informative and share your experiences. And I would like to say thanks to everyone who came today to join us. And I think with that note, we can just end this session. And I would like to wish everyone a very good day and take care. That's all I can say. And
Thanks,
if you would like to have networking, you can network with Rasika on internet, on LinkedIn. You can connect with Christine. You can connect with me. And thank you and take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.